He's Mike Florio. He's a busy guy. Pro Football Talk Live co-host, precedes us with Chris Sims and contributor to Football Night in America. And he's got a novel out. It's about the mob. It's called Father of Mine, now available. Pre-order, hitting bookshelves April 25th. Where'd that come from?
Pandemic, sitting around doing nothing. Pandemic, alcohol, cigars. The Bermuda Triangle of creativity.
That should be the name of the book.
What? The Bermuda Triangle?
Yes. Yeah. Pandemic.
Whatever happened to the Bermuda Triangle? Remember when that was a thing? Like any plane that flew over that area just disappeared, any boat that went over that, and then we just never heard about it again. The Bermuda Triangle ended up in the Bermuda Triangle.
I think I need to reach out to Kyrie Irving and get his thoughts on the Bermuda Triangle. All right, Mike, we got a busy day here with Franchise Tag Day. Explain the Lamar Jackson situation. What are the options for team and quarterback?
Well, technically, first option is do nothing and let him become a free agent. They're not going to do that. Option 2 would be the transition tag, which would give them a right to match and no compensation. They're not going to do that. It comes down to the franchise tag. There's 2 levels. One, it's called the non-exclusive tag. That would result in a $32.4 million one-year contract for Lamar Jackson if he chooses to accept it. But before he accepts it, he'd have the ability to go out and talk to any team he wants, as long as they have a first-round pick in 2023. Can't talk to the Dolphins, can't talk to the Saints. Can talk to anybody with a first-round pick in 23 and 24. Could sign an offer sheet. Ravens can match it. And then they finally have a long-term contract with Lamar. Or they can say, thanks, you take him. We'll take your 2 first-round picks, 2023 and 2024. That's non-exclusive for 32.4. They can go exclusive, meaning he can't talk to anybody. He's under contract with them or no one unless they would trade him. That costs $45 million. And the key is year 2, because if you do a 2-year franchise tag, non-exclusive, it's $71 million total. If you do 2-year exclusive, it's $99 million total. That's why it's such a big decision for the Ravens. They're going to open the door to him possibly leaving at $32 million for this year, or they're going to slam that door shut and commit to 45.
Is this all about Deshaun Watson? If Watson doesn't have that deal, is Lamar Jackson signed?
Well, I have a feeling there would be something else, just because, and look, I've been on record from the moment Lamar Jackson entered the NFL without an agent. Of all the positions, quarterback needs an agent. You need a great agency that has experience negotiating complicated quarterback contracts. It's one thing to do your original contract because it's all slotted. It's easy. Second contract, tougher. And look, Dan, even if he does a long-term deal with the Ravens today, it doesn't change the fact that he could have had one in August and been paid for all of 2022 based on a higher contract instead of getting $23 million for the full season, and now be in year 2 of that big money deal he turned down. So the Watson thing became kind of that focal point. 5 years fully guaranteed. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. And we'll find out if they go non-exclusive. Is there a team out there that is ready to go 5 years fully guaranteed? Would the Falcons do it? Would the Commanders do it? Yeah, I kind of wonder whether or not they're just kind of lurking in the weeds. Baltimore's close by. Hey, we'll do 5 years fully guaranteed. I'm about to sell the team. I'll give the league office the middle finger on the way out the door. They don't like 5-year fully guaranteed contracts. I'll give him one. So it'll be interesting to see if someone does it, because I think if they can get one of these other teams can get Lamar to sign something other than 5 years fully guaranteed, maybe the Ravens match it. Somebody does a Deshaun Watson deal, it could be gone.
Geno Smith, that's a win-win for both sides, I would think. I don't know how much leverage he had. What did you make of Geno and the Seahawks?
Well, I mean, bottom line is if they don't do that deal, they have to use the franchise tag or let him hit the open market. And I don't know what kind of a land rush there would have been for Geno Smith, because it was 1 year. He had those 8 years in the wilderness. I think it's a great stat. He made $17.5 million his entire career before this contract. This new contract pays twice that per year. And a cautionary note, and this is more relevant to the Derek Carr contract because we've seen the real details. That first headline that comes out is almost always got a little BS baked into it. I haven't seen the Geno contract details yet, but 3 years, 105, maybe taking a liberty or two with the truth. Maybe it's a 2-year deal. And look, that's a fascinating wrinkle, Dan, because you got Pete Carroll out there making noise about using the 5th overall pick on a quarterback. Now, either that's just posturing to maybe trade out, or it's real. The real details of the Geno Smith contract will show us whether they are making a 3-year commitment. But if what's been reported is accurate, $35 million a year for a guy who was forgotten, that's a damn good payday for him.
I'm confused with the Daniel Jones situation of what he reportedly wants. And if I'm the Giants, I let somebody come and get Daniel Jones and give me 2 first-round picks for him. That I can't go up to 45, but 32 sounds like a pretty good deal for a guy who's had one really good year. How do you think this plays out?
Yeah, and Dan, when this news broke a couple of weeks ago that he had changed agencies from CAA to Athletes First, I mean, this isn't like he traded in some mom and pop operation for a high-end agency. He went from one high-end agency to another. So if CAA didn't get him $45 million a year or more from the Giants, Athletes First isn't going to get it either, especially when the Giants have the franchise tag at 32.4. You do it 32.4 this year, see what he does. If he's really good again, tag him again next year at a 20% increase. You're still at $36 million per year for 2 years, not 45. And here's the other side of it. You know, the Kirk Cousins path is 2 franchise tags, and then you go. Because the third year, it's a 44% raise over the second year. Well, you know what? The Giants could do that with Daniel Jones. Pay him $54 million in 2025, and the average would still be $42 million a year for the 3 years. So why would they ever give him anything close to that? Just go year to year under the franchise tag, and I fully expect that he'll be tagged today. When you get to this stage of the game, Dan, if you're the player, it's better to get tagged, because you still have until July 15 to do your long-term deal. Take the tag, because the second time you're tagged, you get more money than you would the first time. The third time, they just, in most cases, can't do it. So all these guys who are looking at the tag today, they're better off just getting tagged.
Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk Live, co-host, the show that precedes ours on Peacock. What do you think Aaron Rodgers says today to Pat McAfee about his future?
Well, we are 52 weeks to the day from when Aaron Rodgers announced that he was staying with the Packers. And he said he's not going to hold the Packers hostage. I think it kind of already is in a passive-aggressive fashion, because he's like, oh, why does anybody need to know what I'm going to do? Well, because if they're going to trade you, these other teams need to know what they're going to do. The Jets need to know what they're going to do if they're the team that he's going to end up playing for. Dan, I get the impression the Packers are ready to move on. When Brian Gutekunst, the GM of the team, was asked last week about the quarterback situation, he didn't say Aaron's our guy as long as he wants to be here. He said Jordan Love is absolutely ready to start. What's that tell you? They would prefer that he, I believe, choose to move on. Now, if he decides he wants to create chaos and he says, I'm here, you owe me $60 million. I know I don't have a no trade clause, but I'm going to make it clear I don't want to play for anybody else. Who would trade for me if I make it clear I don't want to play for anybody else? Then they got a problem. They're going to have to start him and maybe trade Jordan Love, or I can't imagine they wouldn't play him and pay him $60 million. But it's got to happen soon. After today, he is holding them hostage. He can't say he's not holding them hostage after today, because this is basically the anniversary of when he let them know last year he was staying.
But they can't trade him without his permission, even though he has a no-trade clause.
No, he doesn't have a no-trade clause, but who's going to trade for him? I don't think he has a no-trade clause. It doesn't matter to me. Starting quarterback. No one is trading for a starting quarterback that doesn't want to go to that team, because you want a guy who's going to show up early, stay late. You don't want a bare minimum guy, even though he's kind of already a bare minimum guy in Green Bay. You don't want a quarterback who doesn't want to be on your team. Any other position, you say, hey, fine. You know what? Just sit at home. We don't care. If you're going to make the investment in a quarterback, he needs to be all in. So that's why I don't care about no trade clause. Like yesterday, Derek Carr got a no trade clause. It doesn't matter. Nobody's trading for that contract if he doesn't want to go to that team.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out. All I'd want to know if I'm Green Bay is, Aaron, do you want to play football? That
right.
Help us start right there.
Right.
And then where would you want to play? Because can Green Bay reach out to the Jets, or do they say to Aaron, you are free to, find your passageway to whatever nirvana is? Start the process.
Well, Trey Wingo reported late last night, early this morning, that Rodgers talked to the Jets yesterday, and that skips the step of Rodgers getting permission to talk to anybody. And you would think last week in Indianapolis, somebody would have caught wind of the fact that the Packers had given Aaron Rodgers permission to talk to other teams. That's a pretty significant story that we in the media business would like to report and make a little money off of, frankly. So it's odd that we go from nothing to he's talking to the Jets. And maybe they did keep that middle step under wraps. I don't know. But if that report's accurate, he's talking to the Jets, and we'll see what's going to happen. But Dan, I'm having a hard time, and Sims and I talk about this almost every day. Who really wants this guy right now? And everything that goes along with him. He's taken that heel turn over the past couple of years. He's not going to be as popular. It's not going to be like bringing Brady. And I mean, you take a Brady number 12 jersey and a Rodgers number 12 jersey with a new team, same team. Brady's going to sell a hell of a lot more of them than Aaron Rodgers right now.
Yeah, if I'm the Jets, I would have gone after Derek Carr. I liked 4 years that I know I'm getting 4 years as opposed to I'm getting one, and then am I getting another one, and then what goes along with that with Aaron. And obviously he's a better quarterback, but I have to – I got to think about the stability of a young team, right. Somebody who's going to provide leadership. And I do look back at what Derek Carr did with the Raiders on a team that perennially had terrible defenses. And he still, hung in there when they had that year of disaster. He had he righted the ship. So I would rather have that than I would, Aaron and the potential that he brings along with him.
Hey, Dan, you're going to commit to $60 million for this year alone as he walks through the door. And you're going to give the Packers something to get him. And you don't know whether he's going to be there after this year. And okay, fine. Offseason program starts in April. Is he going to show up or not? Yeah. Because what have we seen the past couple of years in Green Bay? He doesn't show up. Yeah. And then we wonder why he doesn't click with his receivers until November. I thought the guy was smart. Look at Patrick Mahomes last year. Tyreek Hill's gone. What did he do? He went above and beyond. He took the guys to Texas. He worked with his guys on his own. He sent notes to Andy Reid about what guys do well. Aaron Rodgers, standoffish, aloof, absent. And what happens? These new guys who grew up in awe of Aaron Rodgers didn't get comfortable until November. And they came within a week of making the playoffs. So if he's going to play for the Jets, the Packers, whoever, I need to know this guy is all in. And if I'm the Jets, I'm very concerned about it. And look, Tiki Barber made this point a couple of weeks ago. He knows that New York media market. Aaron Rodgers in the New York media, first press conference, you think they're going to tiptoe around him the way they have in Green Bay for the last 15 years? Hell no. I'm kind of rooting for that because I like a little chaos. But there's a lot, it may feel really good on the way in for Jets fans. It could get rocky quickly.
Rich Eisen was tap dancing yesterday a little bit. He was talking about rumors that he heard at the Combine. And Rich knows this, or he should know this, that even if you put out a rumor that you heard, it becomes a report. It doesn't take long for that, where somebody does put it into context. And Rich was saying, hey, you know what? Brady's retired and everybody's moved on. But this is like bar talk, where he's like, you know what? Dolphins, Tom Brady, wouldn't rule that out. Okay, there's nothing to substantiate that. So how do you deal with a rumor like that?
Well, it's funny, and I don't want to speak out of school, but I spoke to Rich last night because I wanted to make sure I properly couched what he said and what he didn't say.
Look at you
and
being
he was
a journalist.
Very reticent about, I don't want to do this. I said, dude, I've been doing this for 22 years. It's okay. It actually works. We're trying to set the narratives. We're trying to push the envelope. It's okay. Embrace it. But he was very clear. He's not saying that Brady's telling people he's going to play. He's not doing any of that stuff. He's just passing along things he heard in Indy. And Dan, how can there not be a sense that maybe Brady's going to come back? We've seen it with Favre. We saw it with Brady last year, even though I think he knew damn well he was playing in 2022 when he retired. This year, though, he could pass a lie detector test right now. Are you retired? Yes, I am. Come June, he may feel differently. Come July, he may feel differently. The most telling fact to me, on one of the episodes of his podcast after he retired, Jim Gray said to him, you once said you would retire when you suck. You don't suck. Why are you retiring? And he said, I believed it when I said it. That is a great get out of jail free card. I believed it when I said it. I'm not lying. I mean, George Costanza should have embraced this. I wasn't lying. I believed it when I said it. You can have a lot of power in that statement. So I'm not ready to believe we won't see him.
He is Mike Florio. The new mob novel, Father of Mine, now available for pre-order. Hits bookshelves April 25th. Thank you.
$4.99. Less than a pack of smokes.
Wow.
$4.99.
I love
Giving
it.
them away.
Yeah. Great,
right.
Great to talk to you. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Dan. See you,
Mike
pal.
Florio, Pro Football Talk Live co-host.